Assassin's Promise by Thomas Woodward, Chapter 75. Calian smiled to himself. He waited eagerly on the bow of the ship, the Valentagior. Part of him itched to be back in the dry towns he had just departed. He had caroused and gambled as if he had been living in a dream. Nothing much in life had seemed real. The illusory pull of the free cities had tempted him at first, but few had the opportunity to play among the best in the great cities of Azar. Often referred to as the blinding cities, the diamonds of indescribable beauty held a fascination for him. He had journeyed there after winning a great string of hands of Sol, the favored game of all true gamblers. He had seen many sights and sought out the secrets of many beautiful women. In truth, it had been grand, but the emptiness of his purse propelled him homeward. That and the promise of meeting an old friend. Calian would die for a true friend. Like the great plays of Mestur, one of the great literary minds and lover of the arts, he sought out ways to prove the lengths he would go to stay true to a friend. He believed in valor and the cunning touch of a kind woman with a wicked smile. He smiled in remembrance. Lily had pushed him to the limit. She had been a courtesan before moving to the free cities, and he thrilled at the memory of her touch. She was a wicked gem, polished and dangerous. He relished every opportunity he had had to see her. She would always eventually send him away, giving faint promises of more to come. She would never respond to his first entreaty. After a year or so, he knew better. She always preferred he shower her with gifts. He would gamble away the kingdom if it meant he could dally with her just another hour. His blood raced. The ship he had boarded had promised a swift voyage. The captain himself had wagered he could beat his estimated 10 days' passage. Calian had offered to pay double if he could reach Caliapos in 8. However, after much goading and even more drink, he had gotten the captain to agree to give him a free fare if he did not deliver him in 9 days. Calian smiled. Either way, he won. He already chafed at taking part in the great festival. The 20 Days of Fire was an almost sacred holiday out here in the far reaches of the continent. All of the free cities held some minor echo of the great festival to some degree, but none could compare to the great city of Caliapos, his home. He wanted more than anything to see the playhouse, the theater. He yearned for another great tale of tragedy and woe, a love that was not to be, a burgeoning maid with a secret to hide, a wanton queen who fancied a player in her court. The stories were wonderful and raw. They made his blood boil and his heart pound. If he were not a wastrel who had been born to noble birth, he would have been a player. To sing one's love to a fine maiden who hung on his every word, it would be heavenly. A fine wine would only match a fine woman, and he would drink to both with great abandon. Fixing his gaze on the horizon, he looked intently for the cliffs that would mark his homeland. The fast cutter moved along the coast, and he could see the bluffs high above the rocky beaches, hundreds of spans above the sparkling spray. He felt the grain of the wood under his palm. The ship was of a fine make indeed. Smiling, he hoped he lost the bet.